Welcome back to Mass Appeal. Fresh pasta, it can be intimidating if you're thinking about making it on your own, but it's actually easier to make than you think it is. Here to show us 3 easy pastas and the ancient way to do the whole thing. Michael Tesoro, the owner and chef, Ooma Tesoro's Marinara sauce. Thank you so much for stopping by today.
Always great to be here.
This isn't your, well, this is actually your grandmother's pasta. This is like the old-fashioned way to do it.
It really is. This is the way it's done and has been done for probably 500 years. We're not using any fancy pasta makers or pasta processors.
The fanciest tool we have today is a large stick.
This large stick is actually my grandmother's rolling pin.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And she used it for years, and she might have even gotten it from somebody else.
Yeah, I bet.
Probably her mother. But yeah, look at the length of this. I mean, this is what you want. You've got to find a nice rolling pin that's almost a yard long. This is just not going to do.
It's not going to do it.
Okay? Not for this. But it's really simple. All you need is a fork, a spoon,
flour, and
eggs, and that's it.
That's it.
Now, many of the commercial pastas are made out of semolina.
Yeah, I hear that.
And that's dried pasta. You want 100% semolina, and they make it really good. And it's a nice dry pasta. What we're making here is fresh pasta.
Sounds good to me. So we start with what kind of flour?
This flour is all-purpose unbleached flour.
All-purpose
rather than semolina. And rather than the doppio zero, which is double zero.
Okay.
That's a nice flour as well, but it's a little too delicate for the type of pasta you want to create. This is a pasta uovo, which is pasta with eggs, egg pasta.
Sounds good to me. So the best part is, too, you get a little messy. So we're dumping this all out?
This is great, yeah. Create a mound of the flour. That's 2 cups of flour to a half a cup of flour to every egg.
Okay.
Okay. So now here, my grandmother would say, out of this mountain, create il vulcano, the volcano.
Okay.
Okay. So keep moving that out like Mount Vesuvius.
Okay.
If you're in Sicily, maybe it's Mount Etna. If you're in Pacific Northwest, maybe it's St. Helens.
And here in Western Massachusetts, it's Mount Tom.
Tom.
We're making our own little Mount Tom right now.
And there you go. So you create a little volcano.
Okay.
And now open each of those 4 eggs, because we use 2 cups of flour, half a cup to each.
Okay, and then we're just, dumping them in.
Right in the middle. Yep. And just keep the shell.
Okay, the shell's the only thing that goes here. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to rapid fire them.
Good.
Now all 4 are going to fit in here, I hope.
Oh yeah, they will.
Now, would you recommend people at home think about maybe using a bowl?
Right?
Yeah. Because
I asked my grandmother the same question.
Yeah.
And the reason you do this is, it's okay. It's okay. That's a little lava spilling out of our volcano.
It's like every science project ever.
It's okay. It's okay. You get better with practice. So
that's why we have you here today. So what we start doing is whisking the middle slowly.
Yeah, the reason is that my grandmother said that basically not every egg is the same. So you want to pull in the dough, okay, and the flour, and mix them together so that it comes into a nice texture, and you're not just piling a certain exact amount of egg and flour together. It will depend upon the size of the egg how much of this flour we're going to be pulling in here.
Oh, that's true. So at the end, you can just take the excess that's not in your ball and take it away.
Exactly.
Oh, that is very smart.
And use it on the table for
the
rolling it
process.
out.
Okay.
Exactly. So there we go. We just slowly are incorporating the flour in with the egg.
And this is something you want to take your time with, too. We don't want to rush it.
Not at all. Not at all. And with experience, the more you do this, you will see.
Deep down inside, you're swearing at me right now.
The lava will not.
We want our dormant volcanoes. We don't want erupting volcanoes. This I've learned today.
Right.
But this is pretty much the step that we're doing here. We're incorporating the whole thing to make one cohesive ball.
Yeah, the other interesting thing about this is you'll notice so far we've only used 2 ingredients.
Yeah. Is that it?
And flour. No salt.
Yeah.
No oil. Nothing else.
I think
no water.
Because pasta gets this rap sometimes that people think it's very unhealthy, especially if you eat a lot of it.
Right.
But this is pretty much nothing that goes into here, and
right.
the protein from the egg.
That's right. You want the sauce to bring in the flavor. What you want here is
this is your vessel.
Really good quality flour and consistency.
So now we're just to dry it appropriately. We're just bringing in a little bit of flour at a time to make our ball larger and larger.
That's right. So you're bringing it in, and then slowly, once you get to a point where the flour is incorporated in with the egg together, you can begin to get dirty and get your hands in there.
All right.
And again, don't lose the remnants of your volcano, but work with the center.
Okay.
Okay, and incorporate the egg and the flour together into a nice mixture that doesn't become too sticky. So when you still have that stickiness, you want to add more flour.
Is there a consistency that people at home can that can resonate with people at home that you're going for in this?
Yeah, you want it to feel like Play-Doh in the end.
That's something I can get behind.
Yep.
There we go. Look at how easy this is. And think how cheap it is, too.
It is.
And while pasta is cheap, what's the taste difference between store-bought and homemade fresh pasta?
Well, it's a totally different texture.
Yeah.
And we'll see later, totally different cooking style.
Interesting. Okay.
So
we're going to be making 3 different shapes today, right? Or at least a few.
Least.
Yeah.
At least.
Good.
Yeah, there are about 1,000 different types of pasta shapes that we could make. But what we're doing here today is making pasta that's cut just with a knife.
Easy enough. Yeah, we don't need the machines or anything like that to make your own pasta.
That's right.
So now when it's finished, it's going to look a little bit like this. We have a couple of them here because we're going to roll it out later.
Yep.
Just like so.
And that's what it looks like in the end as it continues to get incorporated.
And when you haven't ruined your volcano. So should we roll this one out, or should we come back a little bit later so we can clean up a little bit?
We should clean up and scrape it all off, and I'll show you how to roll it out and knead it.
Sounds good. I can't wait. Thank you very much. And you know who else is back with Michael Tesoro, the owner and the chef, Ooma Tesoro's Marinara sauce. Now, earlier in the show, we combined egg and flour.
That's it.
The only 2 ingredients, and we're making our own pasta. Now comes the rolling portion.
Leonardo da Vinci said simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
I'm going to put that on my wall somewhere.
Think about
Simplicity that's going to keep me up at night. I love it.
All right, so this is the one you made. Okay.
Is it really?
Yeah. This is the one that you put together.
It's the one I'm not going to be eating later.
Clean your surface because when you're incorporating the eggs and flour on the table, occasionally it gets like little chunky spots, and you want to get that out.
Yeah.
Okay. You want it nice and smooth. And so what we're going to be doing here, this is the original stress ball.
Okay. Yeah.
So basically, what you want to do is make sure you have enough flour. Don't kill it, but you don't want this dough to be sticky. And so if it seems like it's still sticky in any of these places, add a little bit more flour to it. But you want to use the palm of your hand.
Okay.
Like I said, we don't need a lot of tools here. We're using our own hands.
Yeah.
This is handmade pasta.
I love this.
Pasta all'uovo, which is pasta made with egg.
And a little bit of love in here, too. There is a 3rd ingredient. It's love.
You can taste love in food.
I think so.
Totally agree. All right, so then we incorporate it in, then pick it up over the top of itself, fold it again on top of itself.
But we've just done so much hard work.
And then keep mixing it in until it's really nice and smooth and elastic.
It seems to me that this is one of those things, certain products like a hamburger, you're not supposed to play with it too much. You're supposed to let it be, flip it once.
That is also true with this. You don't want to overdo it, but you want to make sure that you're feeling no lumps in there. It's really nice and smooth, and it stays elastic. It's got a little elasticity to it, but you don't want it too dried out.
Okay.
Nor do you want it too sticky. There's a fine line there, and the more you make it, the more you'll see where you want to be.
The first time might not be the charm.
It might not be, but let me tell you something else. Give a little bit of this dough to a kid.
Yeah.
And have them play around with it.
That's true.
While you're cooking. It's a lot of fun.
I used to go to a restaurant, actually. They would do that. They would give you the dough to play with.
Yep.
So what's the next step? Once
it's nice and smooth, just like this. I mean, I don't know if you can see this here, but this is just nice and fully incorporated.
Okay.
So this is where we begin to roll it out, okay? So what you want to do is begin...
First of all, go outside and get a large stick. Like
it really needs to be long, and you'll see why, because we're going to start rolling this, okay? And unlike, you know, pizza dough or other things, although it might look the same, it's really not at all. It's not at all. And so we want to get this to be paper thin, and this is where my grandmother, this is a workout, okay?
I was going to say.
This is a workout. You can consider this as burning some calories for the pasta that you're about to eat.
There we go. You call it even.
The other thing about this pasta is, because it's flour and eggs, and the wheat is 100% American grown, it's high in protein.
There we go.
And the eggs, a lot of eggs. We used 4 eggs for 2 cups of flour.
That's true. It's funny because a lot of people say you can't cook cheap and healthy, but you can.
You can.
Mix this with some, you know, tomatoes, a little like marinara sauce. It's a very affordable, nutritious dinner.
It is. And it can be a side dish, or it can be your main dish.
Now, are we going for a specific thickness?
Thickness, yeah. So you want to get down to about 1/8 of an inch, if not more. Ultimately, we're going to get down to nearly transparent, because we like our pasta nice and thin.
Okay.
Because this pasta is not being put through any type of machine.
We're the machine it's being
We
put
are the
through.
machine, as you can see. And we just keep moving this dough out.
Now, I notice every time you move it to and fro, you're incorporating a little bit more flour from the table into it. That's
right.
okay.
Yep, it
because
is.
that's making it not stick either.
You definitely don't want it to stick, so you just bring a little bit of it out. And you just keep working it, you know. My grandmother used to work this stuff on the table. Don't overwork it.
No.
So you'll see that there's a fine line between the two, but we want to get to the desired consistency.
And you know what I will say for this too? Don't be afraid to try new things. There's a lot of things, like if you're making scallops on the grill, that's a $20 a pound investment.
Right.
With this, worst case scenario, you order takeout pizza afterwards and you've only blown a couple dollars.
Exactly right.
There's
Now,
a lot of room for mistakes here.
and once it gets down to about 1/8, okay, then you want to incorporate the dough just over the rolling pin and finger smooth it out as you're pulling it towards you.
And it's not going to stick to each other.
And it doesn't stick toward you. I floured the rolling pin as well, and you can see why this is why a normal rolling pin would not work here. It's
Yes.
just not long enough. And this isn't really a lot of dough either. This is enough for a family.
And now we're rolling it back out.
Then we roll it back out, and we're also really stretching it at this point.
So this
Okay.
is just another way to get it even thinner.
Even thinner. We're
Wow,
getting
it did.
close. We're getting closer to that transparent
Yeah.
look. And once you get it fully rolled out and down to the desired thickness, you let it sit out on the table for about 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
And at that time, you can be doing other things in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's when you start making your marinara sauce.
Yeah, but this is coming out great, actually. This really looks nice. It's really coming together. It's got a beautiful color, too, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And then, after this, it's time to cut.
Then there are 1,000 different types of pasta shapes and sizes. But I'll show you a couple of the most easy ones and the oldest ones.
All right.
That you can do with just a knife.
See, I like this. No, you don't have to buy any doohickeys.
Nothing.
No, not a one doohickey.
No.
So then, why don't we take a little break? We'll start cutting this and putting it together a little bit later.
That's great.
All right. By the way, if you want this, it's easy. mymassappeal.com.
We're back in the kitchen with Michael Tesoro, the owner and chef at Ooma Tesoro's Marinara. We've been making homemade pasta the whole show. This is my first chance at it, though.
It's a lot of fun. You've been missing out,
I
Ashley.
have that, but no, I have my chance now.
Seth was here. He made a volcano with the flour.
I
It
saw.
exploded. There's room for improvement with me, but we have a lot of different kinds of pasta that we're trying to make. So what do you want to make first?
Right. So, again, we're making the ancient pasta, the one that doesn't require a machine. And it's pasta all'uovo, which is egg pasta. And so, Ashley, if you would put, this is all nice and rolled out.
About 1/8 of an inch.
Yep.
Or so.
Even less. Almost transparent. Now, dot little tiny bits of ricotta. I just put a little bit of salt and pepper into the ricotta, and that's all.
More than that?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
And then keep going down the line.
How much space in between each?
You want enough space on either side, but not too much.
How's that?
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. We'll have a lot of mal tagliati, which means bad cuts. Mal tagliati. Taglia is to cut in Italian.
And mala is bad?
Bad cuts. So bad cuts are all the scraps from the pasta that are left over that you can't make into any sort of discernible shape.
Okay.
But you use it in soup.
Yeah.
Or you can have it with a little pasta and a little side dish, but it's delicious in soup. Mal tagliati.
Now, how do we turn these from blobs into raviolis?
So as soon as she's done putting that out, we'll be layering this with this dough here.
Oh, okay, I understand.
All right.
Now, in the meantime, while you're doing that, we will take this pasta sheet that we've been letting dry out just a little bit, and we're going to roll it over itself about an inch wide, okay, nice and flat, and keep rolling it over until you get to the ends, and you'll see we'll have mal tagliati pasta here as well. Now, this is where it gets really fun. So there's about 1,000 different types of pasta shapes that you could make. The most popular ones for daily use is tagliolini, which is a really small, thin, flat pasta noodle. Tagliatelle, which is just a little bit wider. Fettuccine, which everybody knows.
Yep.
And then what comes after that? Well, malfalda and malfadine. So once you roll them over, you want the pasta to be fairly dry here, but not too dry. And you cut it to the width of the pasta shape that you want. So that's like tagliolini.
And then you unravel it. Aha.
And then you unravel it.
You mind if I give it a whirl while we do a
please.
little ricotta?
I don't know if I did this right. I just plopped away.
Totally perfect.
Okay,
it looks
so then
great.
we take this piece.
So that we take this piece and we put it literally just right over the top and cover it.
Okay.
And then you'll see, okay, we missed a few, but that's okay.
Hey, you know, we have fun.
And then we cut in between them. So we just press down in between the dough on all sides.
Yeah. And then you have a fancy little tool right there.
I have a little fancy tool. You can use a knife, but I like the shape that this gives.
Yeah.
And you just literally cut right down to the size of the ravioli that you want, as close to the cheese or filling. The other thing that's really nice to put into this in the fall is squash or pumpkin.
Yes.
Zucca in Italian is something that's always filled into ravioli.
So now once just to fast forward, so then how would we cook this?
So with all fresh pasta, you cook it a fraction of the time you would cook the dry pasta.
Okay.
So rather than, say, 3 to 7 minutes, you would cook it maybe anything from 15 seconds to a minute or two.
And all of this will be on our website. So we have to fast forward. We're almost out of time.
As soon as this comes to the surface of your boiling hot water, it's ready to take out and then add sauce.
And then over here we have the flat spaghetti noodles that everyone knows and loves.
Wonderful. Yep.
Thank you so much.